Hi everyone. So welcome back to our class. We have discussed the first two chapters, that is force and friction. Today we are going to discuss our third chapter, that is sound. Okay. So without sound are we able to live? We want to talk to everyone. We want to hear the sound. We want to hear the music. We want to elaborate whatever is there in our mind to ourselves, others. We want to explain everything. Okay, we want to answer the questions which our teachers ask you, isn't it? We want to reply to the questions which our parents ask us. We want to ask questions, we want to ask queries, we want to ask whatever we need to our parents. So, for everything, each and everything, sound is a must. Sound is inevitable, isn't it? Okay, so today let us discuss the phenomenon which is relying on the topic sound. How is sound produced? How is sound produced in human beings? How can we hear the sound? Here? Okay. So, first and foremost thing which we want to understand when we are discussing sound is that sound is produced by vibration. This is the important thing to be noted down. Sound is produced by the vibration of particles. If I hit on the table, you hear sound because the particles of the table will start vibrating when I hit. If I don't hit, did you hear any sound? Did you hear? No. But if I hit, you heard the sound. Isn't it? So, what is happening? When I hit, the particles started to vibrate. The particles started to vibrate, and this vibration is heard in our ear, and the ear will connect it to our brain, and thus we are able to hear the sound. Okay, so particles vibrate and thus sound is produced. Okay, the tabla, the instrument, musical instrument tabla, how is the sound heard? When the player, the tabla, the artist, when he is playing on the tabla, hitting on the tablas, what will happen? What will happen? The sound will be produced. On the keyboard, when the artist is playing on the strings, the vibration occurs and thus we are able to hear the sound. Okay, so the vibration is the basic phenomenon, or the phenomena behind the production of sound is vibration of particles. Is that clear? Okay, so how is sound produced? It is produced by the vibration of particles. Okay, now in human beings, how can we speak? How the sound is produced? From the lungs, the air is coming out. We are using our air to produce sound. But how it is? If you touch over here, you will see something vibrating. Something vibrating. That is the vocal cord, the larynx, the vocal cord. Okay. The voice box or the vocal box. Okay, inside that there are two vocal cords. They are like a sheet, small sheet, membrane. What will happen? When the air is passing through that sheet, when the air is passing through from the lungs, when the air is passing through this membrane, this vocal cords, this will vibrate. These vocal cords will vibrate. This vibration is heard as sound. Did you understand? In our throat, there is a larynx or voice box. Inside that, two vocal cords are there. Those two vocal cords will be vibrating when the air is taken from our lungs. We are using our air, and when it is passing through, it will vibrate, and this vibration is produced as what? Sound. Okay, so in human beings, vocal cord is producing sound. The vibration of the vocal cords will produce sound. And how it is heard? How the sound is heard in our ear? In our ear, there is something called eardrum. There is eardrum. We will study this in detail in the next higher classes. Eardrum is there. This eardrum will vibrate the sound which is heard. The sound will move in a wave. Sound will be moving as a wave. Okay, the vibrations will be passed on to the particles present in air, in the medium, in the air medium, and it will enter into our ear, and inside the ear there are three small bones. Okay, three small bones. These small bones will vibrate. This vibration will be passed on to the eardrum, and this will be, what will happen? This will enter into what? These signals will be transferred into electrical signals, and it will be sent into our brain, and thus we are able to recognize the sound. Okay, so the structure of ear and all, you will be studying it in your later classes, higher class. Okay, so this is how we are able to hear. Okay, is that clear? How is sound produced? How is sound produced in human beings? Is that clear? Okay, now I will take a medium, a tumbler, a vessel. The end is connected to a vacuum pump. Vacuum pump, you know, will be what we'll do? Vacuum pump will be able to evacuate all the air present inside the tube to this vacuum pump. So it is connected to a vacuum pump, and a bell, electrical bell. A bell is placed inside the bell jar, glass jar. Let it be a glass jar. Glass jar. Okay, I have kept a bell, electrical bell. There is a switch over here, and if I switch it on, the bell will start ringing. In your school, you have heard your bells ringing in our school, isn't it? When the switch is turned on, the bell will ring. Or at your homes, whenever a visitor comes, they will ring the bell. You will start hearing the bell. So if I switch it on, the bell will start ringing, and I will be able to hear at first because there is air inside it. I will be able to hear it, and after that, what I will do is I will on the vacuum pump. I will on the vacuum pump, and I will evacuate all the air inside the bell jar, glass jar. There won't be any air inside that. Then if I switch it on, the bell won't work. The bell will work, but we won't be able to hear the sound. Why it is so? Before, at the beginning, it was hearing. There was air inside. Now I have evacuated all the air. Then when I switched it on, I couldn't hear the sound. Why? Because air is required, or a medium is required for transfer of sound. Sound requires a medium to travel. Without a medium, the sound cannot means what? It cannot transfer. If we need to hear it, there should be air in between the production of sound and our ear. If I am hitting it over here, from this production of this point of source of sound to here, there should be medium, and here there is air. So the air is transferred into the air, the vibrations are transferred into the air molecules, air particles, and then it is entering into my ear. If there was no air in between the point of production of sound and my ear, then I could not have heard. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay, so there is a need of medium for sound to be propagated. Okay, that's also very important for you. There should be medium for the sound to be propagated. Okay, now let us recall something which we have studied. I have told you it is vibration. Okay, vibration means it will be vibrating like this. Okay, last year we have studied oscillatory motion. To and fro motion we have studied. It will come, means what? The string will be from here, it will go here, it will come here, or from here, if we release the ball from here, the pendulum, the to and fro motion, the oscillation, to and fro motion. The oscillation means from the initial position to final position and back to the initial position. That is called one oscillation. Frequency means what? Frequency. This also we have studied it in the last year, 7th standard. What is frequency? Number of oscillations in 1 second. The number of oscillations in 1 second. This is called one oscillation. And one frequency means what? What is one frequency? The number of oscillations in 1 second is called, in a unit time, is called frequency. The number of oscillations in unit time is called frequency, isn't it? So in 1 second there will be many number of frequency may be there in 1 second, means number of oscillations might be there. Okay, so frequency, the SI unit of frequency is hertz This also we have studied it in the last class, last year. Hertz, Hz, we will denote it by the letter Hz, Hertz. Okay, frequency. Okay, number of vibrations or oscillation is also a vibration. Number of oscillations in unit time is called frequency. Okay, and SI unit of frequency is Hertz. Is that clear? Okay, so now let me say one thing. The number of oscillations in unit time is called frequency, I have told you. Okay, this is one sound produced by an object. Okay, in 1 second, from here to here it is 1 second. Okay, and here this is another sound which is produced by, this is another object produces another sound which is like this, just like this, in 1 second, 1 second, in 1 second. Okay, so which one will be having high frequency? Which of the two objects will be having high frequency? Will it be A or will it be B? A will be having high frequency because the number of oscillations in 1 second is more over here. So it is having high frequency and this is having low frequency, isn't it? Isn't it? So I will say that the sound is vibration. Sound is vibration of particles. The sound produced, it will be, if the sound produced is having high frequency or more number of oscillations or vibrations, that sound I will call it as a shrill sound. I will call it as a shrill sound or high pitch sound. Shrill sound or high pitch sound, high pitch. In the music contest and all, you might have said the pitch is out. It was not correct. It's high pitch. When you went to the high note, high pitch, it was wrong. And when you went to the low note, it was okay. Okay, that pitch means what? The number of vibrations produced in the vocal cord in 1 second. Okay, if it is more high pitch, I can also speak slowly, I can also speak loudly. Okay, that high pitch sound means the number of vibrations will be more. Low pitch sound means the number of vibrations will be less. So this is a low pitch sound where the number of vibrations per second is less. That is a high pitch sound and it will be a shrill sound. We will also call it as a shrill sound. Okay, that is clear? Okay, so that is about frequency. Now, what can we say about amplitude? Amplitude means, if this is the mean position, that means if there are a lot of particles here, there are a lot of particles on the surface. If I am vibrating, if I am hitting it over here, the particle, if it is moving like this, if it is moving to the topmost, it is having this much disturbances is caused. In some other case, when the particles are here, if I am hitting here, the only disturbance will be this much. The disturbance caused to how much height from the mean position, it was at rest, from here it went here, but here it only went here. Okay, this is less, this distance is less than this distance is more. So I will say this will be having more amplitude than that one. This will be having more amplitude than the sound produced by this object. Okay, amplitude means this is the maximum disturbance caused. Okay, here it is having more amplitude than this one. Is that clear? So I will say when a sound is produced, when the disturbance caused, the amplitude, if it is more, the loudness will be also more. It will be a louder sound if the amplitude is more. This will be a feeble sound if the amplitude is less. It will be a small sound. We can't hear it as such. Some of our students, some of our friends, we cannot hear them speaking. That means it will be the loudness will be very small. That means their amplitude produced by the vocal cords are very less. And some other friends, even if we are far away distance from them, we can recognize their sound because that's too loud. That is because of this, why the amplitude is more for their sound. So they are having loud sound. So that's also clear. Okay. So now what we want to discuss in this chapter is audible and inaudible sounds. You might have heard about ultrasonic sound and all. That means animals can recognize some other sounds which we cannot hear. You might have heard like that. When earthquake is coming, when tsunami was coming, the birds and the dogs, etc., the birds could identify the sound and they were very much distracted. But we couldn't hear. Why it is so? Because for a human here, the sound range which we can hear is only from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. From 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That means the sound producing which is having frequency 20, that means in 1 second 20 vibrations to 20,000 vibrations. In 1 second, if it is having 20,000 vibrations also we can hear. If it is having 20 vibrations also we can hear. But if it is less than 20, 1 to 19, or if it is above 20, that means 20,001, above 20, from 20,001 to above, our body, if the vibrations are this much, our ear cannot recognize those sounds. These sounds are called ultrasonic sound. These sounds are called infrasonic sounds. Below 20 hertz it is infrasonic, above 20,000 it is ultrasonic. So the human ear can only recognize the sound which is produced between 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, and this is the audible range. This is the audible range of sound, audible range. Okay, so this only we can hear. Above and below this, it is inaudible range of sound. That means we cannot hear. Human ear cannot recognize these kind of sounds. This is also another important thing. Okay, now the portion which we want to study is about noise and music. What is noise? It is very unpleasant, isn't it? Noise means it is very unpleasant. So unpleasant sounds are called noise. And music, it's very clear, it is pleasant sound, which is very pleasant for our ear, which is very entertaining. These things are called music. And the unpleasant sounds are called noise. And we have to study about noise pollution. It is a very harmful thing which we are doing if we are creating noise pollution. In some hospitals and all, it is said that don't make noise. That means keep silence. In your library it is said that keep silence. So those areas are meant for silence. There if you are making noise, you are creating noise pollution and you are harming your environment and your friends and your surroundings. Also, if after 10 o'clock, if huge meetings are being conducted, the people who are residing over that area, they are suffering from that noise pollution. The factories which is working 24 hours, the machineries which is making a lot of noise, that's also creating the noise pollution in that surroundings. Okay, so noise pollution is a great harm which should be eradicated. So for that, what we have to do? We have to reduce the horns in the vehicles. There are areas where we are not able to make noise. Don't make noise. Don't apply horn on those areas. Don't conduct meetings after a particular time in the night. Also, if the factories are working, let them work in areas where there are no residents, where are less residents. Okay, so there are a lot of examples. So you can find out which are the examples, which are the scenarios or which are the cases where we are making noise pollution and how can we control it. You take it as homework. So these are the important things to be studied in this chapter, sound. How sound is produced? It is by vibration. How sound is propagated? It needs a medium to travel. In our human beings, vocal cords are vibrating and the sound is produced. We are able to hear because of the small bones present inside our ear and the eardrum. Okay, then frequency, amplitude, loudness, the pitch, high pitch, low pitch sounds, audible, inaudible range, noise, music and noise pollution. So these are the important points to be noted down in this chapter. I hope everything is clear. For any doubts you can ask at any time. Okay, we are ready to clear all your doubts. We are always with you. Okay, so stay safe. Thank you.